English translation, 419th contact, Thursday, 11th May, 2006, 11:34 hours.
Sorry that you had to wait. Unfortunately, I got held up by Eva. Hello to you, my son, and be welcome. I had not thought that you would come so quickly.
The matter is important. That is why I came here so quickly. Be greeted, dear friend. Florina Thrupata has conveyed to me your request, on which I will make the following statement. Since my last visit, I have still come across a few small shortcomings in the statutes and bylaws, which must be corrected because important passages have been forgotten. These are important matters of an organizational nature, which do not require a vote, but which should be communicated to the passive General Assembly for information. However, with regard to the amendment to point A of Art. 11 of the statutes, that the passive General Assembly should be postponed to the fourth weekend, a vote must be taken by those present at the General Assembly next Saturday. However, this does not require my approval, as this is a matter which can be taken up by the core group. It should also be noted that from now on, my approval is no longer required for amendments to the statutes and bylaws, because from the 1st of January 2007, everything necessary for any changes will be the responsibility of the core group of 49. The existing statutes and bylaws should, however, be maintained in the form that I and we have jointly given them to date.
This is what we will focus our attention on. So, you say that as of the 1st of January 2007, your permission is no longer required, even with regard to possible changes in the statutes and bylaws. However, you say that both the statutes and the bylaws should be maintained in the form that you and we have worked out together. However, I think that there may be misunderstandings about your explanation, because Earth humans are not able to think in your logic and therefore cannot understand your words properly. So I think that I am interpreting your explanation a little, and I am making a note that the so-called changes do not refer to the fact that existing articles, which are given by you and by us together, should or may be changed. As I understand your statement, by changes you mean that new articles and extensions can be created which have extensively new aspects and importance, but which do not change existing articles but extend them, or have nothing to do with them. Have I understood that correctly?
That is of correctness, but do you really think that my statement could not be understood, or could be misunderstood without your further interpretation?
I think so, because I have had the experience that explanations have been misunderstood time and time again because thinking is not done using your form of logic. Even I myself am not infrequently misunderstood when I try to explain something using your form of logic, when I am careless and do not pay attention to the consistency of the Earth humans.
That seems to me to be laborious.
Yes, it is sometimes, but it is of value that even this arduous thing is hit when you see that everything is then understood to some degree or extent.
But a lot of patience is required, which you do not lack.
I owe this to Svath's teaching, for he taught me to be patient over and over again. He was also tireless in his teaching of patience. But can I ask you a few questions about the human sleeping habits, and about some other things?
Certainly.
Thank you. Well, here on the Earth, it is generally said that a room where you sleep must be cool and only have a temperature of about 20 degrees Celsius. But for my part, I find this temperature too cool for me, because I only find it pleasant in bed when it is about 24 degrees Celsius. But there are humans who, as they say, can only sleep when they have a rather cool room temperature with the window open. What should one think of this, and what is right?
I know the views that prevail among Earth humans in this regard. These, however, are based on erroneous medical scientific claims, as well as on erroneous popular opinions that do not correspond in any wise to reality. Basically, It can be said that every person has a very individual sleeping habit with regard to the temperature of the room in which he or she sleeps. The temperature of the sleeping room cannot be determined universally for all humans, because the feeling of warmth is a purely individual physical matter. One person likes it quite cool or even cold when sleeping, another person likes it warm, and another person likes it a little warmer or very warm. So as I said, we cannot speak of a generally valid room temperature for the sleeping chamber, but only of a room temperature that is purely individual for each person. However, it should always be ensured that the moisture content of the air is appropriate to the warmth and should be between 45 and 65%. So the room temperature should be correctly adjusted to the needs of the individual person.
That makes sense to me. Then another question. During my life, I have often had experiences in the relationship that humans have fallen prey to physical or organic illnesses as a result of self-generated envy, hatred and egoism, but also with regard to sorrow and worries, unfulfilled hopes and wishes, etc. The process of the developing illnesses is clear to me, because everything is triggered by thoughts and feelings, which in turn form the psyche, whereby the psyche then initiates the process that causes psychosomatic complaints, from which physical organic damage and illnesses then arise. What interests me now is the following. Can this process also cause damage and illness to the eyes and teeth?
That is indeed the case. Psychosomatic complaints, which are caused by negative thoughts and feelings of all kinds that burden the psyche and can cause damage and illness in it, can also affect the eyesight and teeth. The visual acuity of the eyes can be severely impaired, and in the worst case, even blindness can be the ultimate consequence. The teeth can be severely damaged and eventually fall into unstoppable decay, which can also cause physical and mental illness.
Dental care is of little use if the mental state is not of the necessary order, cleanliness, health, and strength, I think.
That is of correctness, because the mental state of a person determines to a large extent also his or her physical state of health, including that of their teeth.
Then another question. What is it with the Bible Code and the Da Vinci Code? The Da Vinci Code is an invention of a writer who earned a lot of money with a corresponding book. The Bible Code, on the other hand, is based on other things that a professor named Eliyahu Rips claims to have worked out from the Bible. He now lives in Jerusalem, where I wrote to him via Eva on the 1st of July 2005, but never received an answer. But what this professor has worked out as a Bible code is a thing that can be worked out of any other book as well, no matter which one it is. At least that is how I see the whole thing, because on various occasions I have also tried to form certain names and dates from any books in the way the professor did. In doing so, I have found something astonishing.
Just as the Da Vinci Code is not based on reality and truth, but on fantasy, so is the Bible Code. As you rightly say, in all books of all kinds, in the form used by Eliyahu Rips, names, dates, and events can be found which apply to world events, etc., as well as to persons.
So I thought correctly. I have no more questions.
Then I will dictate to you the following in regard to the bylaws.
Thanks. The whole thing will be worked out.
Then I want to say goodbye again, because there are duties I have to perform in the next few hours. Goodbye, my friend.
Sachlomi. Goodbye.